And we are going to go ahead and start. It might be easier for me to throw this over here. And not that I don't want your face on there. I wanted to have a grid view here. There we go. Perfect. I'm much happier.
That looks good.
Okay. All righty. Well, today is our fourth No Waste Ambassador class. To what? And we are going to talk about recycling and talk with two people from Smurfit Westrock, who will probably be doing, someone will be doing our tour in March. So we're
Yes.
very excited to have you guys here to explain Smurfit Westrock recycle sorting. I was doing Recycle Right with two of our brand new staff members and trying to explain how sorting goes on. They haven't had a chance yet to go to the sorting center. And I was like, oh, I just can't wait till you guys go because you just will never understand how this works. And even though they see the videos, I'm like, you still just won't understand how this all works until you see it in person. Anyway, so let's get this show on the road. All righty. So you guys, it is all yours. Whoever wants to go first. I do want to introduce you. This is Ryan Ferris, Smurfit Westrock, and Haley Lyons, Smurfit Westrock. It is very hard for me to say. I have a very hard time with the S's and the R's all together. But anyway, so you guys go you guys go ahead and if I have if there's any clarification, I'll let you know. I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Any questions that come up or anything, just feel free to pause us and we'll answer them then. Or if you want to save them till the end, doesn't matter either way.
Okay. Thank you.
But anyway, like you said, I'm Ryan and Haley with me here, and we're both, it's procurement specialist is our title, but it's just a way of saying that we're buyers. We go to mainly industrial type businesses and buy their recycling from them. We focus mainly on fiber, cardboard, paper, because we have our own mills that we feed into to make new boxes for lots of big name brands, and that'll be in part of our presentation here. So actually, the presentation is what we do before a tour to kind of show people what they're going to see once they get in there, because it can be loud. We actually just got a little hip speaker to have in there to help with that so that people can actually hear what we're saying as we're next to those loud machines and, see it and hear it in person after seeing it in the video can kind of help everybody connect the dots and see, like you said, once you see it with your own eyes, it's completely different of hearing about it and somebody explaining it to you, the way those machines are made to separate and continuously upgraded to be able to capture new items that the current one isn't catching. It's just a constant upgrading and trying to find new ways to recycle those things that just get missed or honestly, if they're too small, they just fall right through the cracks in there. And we'll kind of show what that's talking about. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share my screen here.
Hopefully.
Yes. Can you all see that?
Yes. It's not in PowerPoint
Right,
presentation though.
Will it still be okay?
We can work with it. Sure. You just keep going.
Okay. All right. So here we have the aerial view of our plant here. This is Industrial Boulevard where the entrance is, and the trucks or anybody, even just We have some smaller haulers that just pull, regular pickup truck with trailers, or even some people bring in their SUV. They stop here at our scale house. We have two scales coming in. One's an auto scale, so if somebody has what we call a trip ticket, they can scan that and completely skip talking to somebody at the window. They can scan in, weigh in, I should say, dump their material, whether it's our tipping floor, cardboard, or sorted paper here. Um, can you all see my mouse moving? I should ask that before I go
Mhm.
too far.
I
Does
did.
it show where my
Yep.
cursor is? All right, good deal. Good deal. And then so they'll unload and then they'll stop here on the way out on the scale going out and then receive a ticket that shows what their gross weight was coming in and then what their weight going out to receive a net weight of the material that was dropped off. Also, we have these are our portable docks here for when our actual docks that we have on the sides of the building are in use. We can go ahead and either load somebody here if it's going out or unload them if they just had it coming in. That way our line doesn't back up too long because this has been known to back up all the way out to Fern Valley before. So that kind of helps keep things moving, get people in and out whenever all of our docks are actually filled up. Um, this is our organics building here, where we take all mainly food waste, but compost type material to be recycled. And then the back line here, we have a railroad actually where we can use rail cars to ship out bales and we can do 4 semi-loads worth in one rail car. So that really helps with shipping there. And then we kind of have storage back here. You'll see cardboard, more cardboard, and then kind of goes down the line where we have plastics and metals all in the corner back in here. And so, yes, we did become Smurfit West Rock as of July 8th. And it is a mouthful to say. I was only with West Rock for 12 days before it became Smurfit, and I still had trouble putting that Smurfit in front of it. So I can only imagine people that have been working for West Rock for years, trying to get used to saying that as well. But what it did is it gave us a larger footprint across the globe now, merging with Smurfit Kappa. And we gained more plants in the US, but we also are now in Europe, like the Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, and areas like that as well. So it really helped us be able to take it a little more worldwide, excuse me, tongue twister there, for recycling. And here's our Louisville, or not Louisville, USA locations here. So we're right here in Louisville. We have quite a bit around us here, a few in the south, some kind of in Texas Midwest area, but then we go all the way to Portland, and we have Alaska plants as well. Obviously, places like Alaska don't do as much, but they still need the recycling up there, so it's good for them to have that option for us to be up there. And this here is what we would, in a perfect world, like to see.
Ryan, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can you go back and talk about Alaska? Do they ship that by rail, or how do they get the recycling from Alaska back to the lower 48s?
Yes. So that would mainly be semi loads, or even, I think, actually a ship as well to get it to us. And then uh, there's not a whole lot that comes back out of there from my understanding. So it's just basically it kind of, they build it up and then they ship it in one fell swoop basically.
Wow,
So
that's
because
amazing.
it's so far
Uh-huh.
that it's just logistics basically.
I just thought maybe they
And
might ship it to Canada or something. That's interesting.
yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt
it's
you.
it's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. And actually our regional manager, so she has kind of the northern, but then she has those two out there as well. So she goes up there every now and then, and she says it's pretty cool to see up there. And
I
but
bet
it's
it's nice.
crazy whenever they're having their 30 days of nights. She's been up there for that, so she's pretty cool to experience that. She
I
said,
bet. I bet. I'm sorry
"I'd
to
like to get
interrupt you.
up there
Thank you.
sometime to check
Oh,
it out.
I would. I would too. That would be neat.
It'd be really cool." So this is basically in a perfect world what we would like to see, just kind of the recycling fiber chain. Um, and you can really start at any plant in or any point in here because it's all supposed to really come back to itself. So we have our converting plants that they make the boxes, they fold them, they brand them for companies that they're going to. They're going to go out, hit the shelves, or e-commerce, online, then to people's homes or industrial type settings, businesses, and then hopefully back to a recycling plant to where we can get it back to a paper mill, and then back to the converting plants, and then back into the circular economy, basically just keeping that going to where we can have more recycled fiber versus having to use the virgin forest to be able to supplement that. The more recycled we can get, the better. So that's what we would really like to see, be 100%, but it's going to take time, obviously. And this kind of talks about sustainable packaging as well. It's the same thing, but just in a circle motion. And you can really start at any point as this with this as well. Um, but hopefully we're going to start with the getting it in here, getting it recycled, send it back out to our paper mills, get them to make those new boxes, send it to the retail shelves, online, wherever, consumer, and then back to us again, back through there, back around again. Um, And these are things that we make every day with that cardboard. A lot of big name brands you might recognize. Most of the pizza boxes, especially Domino's and Pizza Hut, that are made in the Midwest, most likely came from a West Rock folding facility. But they can also do things like these end caps here that you see in aisles, displays, your to-go packaging. We do Amazon boxes, the Chick-fil-A, like to-go carriers. Maybe so I went to a folding plant in Nicholasville, and they do like Girl Scout cookie boxes, like all the big name brands that you can think of, pretty much uh, are going to come through a folding facility at West Rock. So it's pretty cool to see that and know that this stuff is actually going to be made into products that literally all of us are buying every single day.
We just got our
Uh,
Thin Mints in, and it was a West Rock box.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah,
So
I
that
was telling Haley the other day, I was actually watching a TikTok video where a girl was she was spray painting a handle on her shed or something, but she cut a box to put around it to not get the paint on the shed itself, and the stamp on there, it was an Amazon box that she cut out, and it was a West Rock stamp. I was like, that's pretty cool to see that on there.
is nice.
Exactly. I was like, I'm just gonna see what that stamp says, and of course it was West Rock, and I was like, oh, awesome. And they had like she had like hundreds of thousands of views. People don't even realize. Here are some food and beverage containers that we can accept. Um, Things like these disposable aluminum pans are great. We just don't want full servings of food in there, basically, but it doesn't have to be rinsed out. Same with all of these, there's cheese and grease in this pizza box. You can still recycle it. It'll come out in the process when they turn it into a pulp. It'll basically just kind of stay on top, and they'll skim it off of there and keep the good fiber out of there. So we just tell people, I know it can deter them if they feel like they have to rinse everything out before they recycle it, or they think, oh, there's too much in there and I'm just going to throw it away anyway. Don't. Like, you can still send it to us. We're going to accept it, and it, will be recycled. So you don't have to do the extra legwork of rinsing it yourself or just toss it because you think it's too dirty. Other acceptable items, obviously cardboard and paper, because I said we were focused heavily on the fiber portion, but we can accept plastics 1 through 7, the aluminum and tin, and we do glass, but not a large abundance. So residential glass is fine. Your pickle jars, wine bottles, things like that are perfectly fine to put into your single stream. We just wouldn't take like somebody's doing construction and they're throwing out all the windows of a house. That kind of glass we wouldn't, or windshields, things like that. We just can't handle that. But these small jars and things like that are perfectly fine to put in there, and will be recycled. This is just acceptable cardboard items. Your things like cereal boxes. It's a very thin, what we call box board cut or BBC. So it can go either way. We can put it in paper, we can put it with cardboard. So it's kind of a nice in between because it tears easily, but it still has the thickness of cardboard. And then paper, obviously, newspaper, sorted office paper, mixed paper. We can take hardback books. Um, Even if there's notebooks with spiraling in there, the wiring doesn't have to come out. You can send it just as the way it is. So that's a really good source of fiber right there to get the different types of mixed paper in there. And this is going to talk about the glass as well. Just those smaller jars, it's some beer bottle types, pickles, peanuts, whatever. As long as it's small and not a huge amount, then we'll be able to take that in. And we have a glass breaker that's actually right off of the cardboard line that we'll show as well. That before it even goes through any of the rest of the line, that glass falls right down, breaks up, and sends off to its own separate pile. These are PET number one. So that's going to be things like your water bottles, ketchup. Basically, if it's clear or even clear green, it's usually PET. But there's, as you all may know, a stamp on there that'll let you know. But that's very recyclable there. The number two as well, which is your HDPE. That's going to be milk jugs, laundry detergent, things like that. Um, Anything with a color on it's going to be HD colored, is what we call it. And even if it's white, it's still considered a color because it was dyed to become white. But HD natural is going to be your clear or opaque milk jug type plastic there. Uh, Polypropylene number five is going to be butter containers, sour cream, those types of things as well, and those can also be recycled. And then the metals that we take, aluminum cans, obviously, and then also the disposable aluminum pans. And then you have things like tin, which are usually your canned good types of metal cans. And then actually on the rest of the portion, Haley's going to take over to describe the what happens in the plant.
All right, so residential, we get through different haulers. We've got Republic, we've got Waste Management, Anytime, etc. So they're going to go around and collect all that residential single stream. And we also can collect using like FEL dumpsters, commercial single stream, which is pretty similar to what you're getting in residential loads. It's just a little bit cleaner because you're not going to have as much food waste and things coming through commercially. Next. And then when they come in, they will go to the tip floor, which is the picture on the left. They're going to dump all of the recycling waste on the tip floor, and that loader right there is going to scoop it up and dump it into our drum feeder, which is there on the right. That drum feeder is going to kind of rip things apart, spread it out, flatten it out. Any of those clear plastic bags, it's going to rip it apart so that when it gets to our manual sort line, which I don't know if it's depicted in this presentation or not, they can easily pick out contaminants. So that's going to be water hoses. That's going to be black trash bags. If they don't get opened by the drum feeder, they're going to pick those black trash bags up and directly into the trash they go. It's just a safety hazard. We don't want anyone ripping open a black trash bag full of waste, and especially if it's like bathroom trash or anything like that. If it's clear, they'll rip it open. They'll pull any bags out, Kroger bags, those clear plastic bags, Walmart bags, anything like that, they're going to throw in trash, just because those are going to wrap around our wheels, which you'll see here in a second, Ryan, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. The wheels here in the cardboard sort and the paper sort, you can kind of see it in this picture, all those bags that are wrapped around, that's going to cause our machine to shut down. And then we have to go in manually and unwrap it all. So they try to catch as much as they can. And then in the cardboard sort, it's the first what we consider the paper sort. All of those large pieces of cardboard that you see, they're going to float all the way to the bottom and be dumped into a separate kind of larger cardboard pile. Then the rest of the material will go to the paper sort. In these two sort machines, any plastic, metals, glass are going to fall through. Any smaller pieces of paper will fall through the cardboard sort, and then they're going to float through the last two. There's actually there's a third paper sort. We just don't depict it because it looks exactly the same. It's just that the spokes kind of get smaller and smaller each time. And so when the glass falls through, it's going to fall through, break, and go to the right. You'll see a big pile of glass. And then the plastics and metals are going to continue on through the sort line. And I think next is going to be a couple pictures. Yes. So you've got the big cardboard pile, and then you have our mixed paper pile. And you'll see some kind of what you would think is considered cardboard in the mixed paper. And that's going to be some of just your like cereal boxes, and smaller things like that. And honestly, it's okay because it all goes to the same place type of thing. So what do we got next? So now we have the bounce belt. The bounce belt is going to do what it's named for. It's going to bounce, and all of the metals and plastics are going to fall to the bottom, and then it's the last chance pretty much for any of our paper. All the paper that's left over, it's going to float on the top, and then it's going to add to that paper pile that you just saw. And then you've got our magnet separator. It's going to attract metals like tin. It'll pull like tin cans off the line, I'm pretty sure. And any aluminum and plastic is going to continue through, which is there's kind of like a belt underneath of it. And for those of you who are going to be on the tour, this will really hit home when you see it in person. So, and then next we've got our eddy current. This is going to use air. So it's going to read, magnetic forces. So when aluminum goes through, it's going to kind of like jump over that gap that you see. And then the plastic is going to fall through, and it's going to continue through the sort line, and it's going to make it to the dual optical sort. And that is going to sort our PET plastic from our HDPE. How it does it is there's a line of light, and it reads the resin in the plastic. And so when it reads, I can't remember. Ryan, is it the PET that falls through? Yes.
Going to shoot that PET up and over. The HD will fall
Up
through.
and over. Okay. So when it reads PET, which is going to be like your water bottles and your soda bottles, it's going to shoot it up and over the gap, just kind of like the eddy current does with the metals. And then the HDPE, which is going to be your milk jugs and your laundry detergent bottles, is going to fall through. And then when we're at the plant, I don't think we have the video loaded on this one, but when we're at the plant, you're going to see an AI kind of robot arm that is going to separate. It's pretty much the last step, I would say. It's going to separate our milk jugs, the HDPE natural, from the HDPE colored, which is going to be those coffee tins and laundry detergent bottles and things like that. And it kind of just reads the resin again, and it's hard to explain without seeing it, but you'll see it on the tour, and it just suction cups. I think it picks out the clear from the colored. And then we have one plant employee that works next to it and separates anything that it misses, because it is not perfect, but it's AI, so it like teaches itself to be better, and you'll be able to see some stats and things like that when we see it in person as well. And this is just some examples of our piles. We've got the separated aluminum cans, and then we have our tin cans as well. And then all the material that we get, most of it at least, is going to go into our balers. So in the top left is going to be our HDPE colored. You can see like the laundry detergent bottles and things in there. And then we've got some cardboard bales. That might be metal. I can't quite see from here. And then
It might be mixed paper.
it's going to get mixed paper. And then it's going to get loaded into semi-trucks, into our rail cars, etc., until it is fully loaded and ready to go. This is going to be our organics program. It's kind of a newer program, I want to say. We are pretty much a valet service for any organic waste. And so we've got organic bins. We have a 21-gallon and a 65, depending on what restaurants and kitchens and things and universities, like we do U of L's organics, need. And we, on scheduled days, will come and drop off or swap clean organic bins with their full ones. And we sanitize them, we clean them really well, to make sure that they are safe and okay to be put into a kitchen, because you've got, health codes and everything like that. All the organic waste, once it makes it back to the plant, we dump it into our compactor. That is through Smith Creek. Smith Creek will come and service our compactors. I think it's on like a scheduled basis. And that material is taken to their compost piles. They create the mixture with some wood chips, some of our food waste, etc., whatever materials and whatever the balance is. I don't know the details on that. And it kind of goes in a horseshoe shape, you could say. And when it makes it to the end, they take it, sort through it, and it becomes mulch and soil amendments and everything else. And food waste is any food. You've got bones, you've got meat, coffee grounds, any fruit, vegetables, anything like that. You can even throw compostable materials in there, like coffee filters as well.
That's
You just
because
don't want to put even like plants and stuff, like if they have soil trimmings. Go ahead.
That's because they do an industrial style composting. Right. We'll talk
Yes.
about composting.
Yes,
in-
industrial.
So yes, I think it's a
Okay.
little bit more intense, but we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
definitely.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. What do we have next? Oh, this is just a little bit on our landfill diversion, it looks like. It just shows how much paper we're collecting: cardboard, film, plastic, the 1 through 7s, organic, 62 tons. And it's just like monthly rates of what we're keeping out of the landfill pretty much. And I think last is going to be a video that Ryan will play. It's about 3 minutes long, I want to say. But it's just interesting to watch. So
I'll go ahead and start it.
if it will play.
That's it. I'll stop sharing now.
So I it's not this sorting.
Yes, that's Marietta, Georgia. Yeah, so theirs is very similar to ours, but yeah.
Uh,
So it's cool to see where it starts the curbside, gets to the plant, goes to a paper mill, goes to the folding facility, and then back out into the world. You can kind of see the whole circle there.
people
Diane,
What was
I'm
what
not
was the
sure.
last part?
I'm having trouble hearing you. You're cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure if everyone else is getting that.
I'm the same. I can't, it's like it's just a bunch of gobbledygook.
If you mute everybody who's not speaking, that should help it.
Oh, okay.
It might be your headphone or
Yeah,
your earbuds.
Yeah, the muting didn't work. You're still cutting in and out.
how's this? Any better?
100% better.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Let me see. Can I hear you guys? Say something
That's
for me. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
okay.
All righty, we'll use
Well-
that. Let's see here. What I wanted to talk about now, thank you so much for your video, is let me bring this over here. I've got 3 screens and it just drives me. It's so many. Let's see. Earlier in the year, you guys sent the MRF survey, 2025 MRF survey, and we just have a couple of questions. I was hoping you guys could help us out. Let me describe what this is to the ambassadors. Every so often we get this survey that describes more specific items of what Smurfit Westrock accepts or acceptable items. And if you look here on the header, it breaks down exactly how they accept it. So yes, they accept it. No, they don't. It's detrimental. No, they don't accept it, but it's not detrimental. No, they generally don't accept it, but they can recycle it and probably do recycle it. Am I explaining that correctly? Okay. Well, and if you look on the list, and I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down, but if you look on the list, let's see here. You can see this is paper products like cartons, magazines, paperboard boxes like cereal boxes and things like that. But I do have a question. Can you guys see my cursor?
Yes.
Oh, good. This tissue paper, it says no, you don't accept it, but it's not detrimental. Do you mean tissue paper like Kleenex tissue paper, or tissue paper like you put in a box tissue paper?
I think when we read it, at least I was thinking like Kleenexes, which
Okay,
are
perfect.
weak, but I want to say like gift tissue paper. That's good. That's fine. We can take
Yes.
that, right, Ryan?
Oh,
That's
good.
gonna be fun.
Okay, so gift tissue paper is good because that's what we've been saying as well. Okay, we just wanted to clarify that point. Perfect. because Kleenex or tissues are at the end of the life cycle. The fibers are so small that once it gets where if you put it into the toilet, it will break down like toilet paper and microorganisms eat it and make it disappear. Okay, fabulous. Thank you. And we always like to talk about how recyclable glass products are. They're along with aluminum products, much better to use or to try and get your products in those kinds of containers instead of plastics because they recycle so well. Let's see here.
Okay to ask a question?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And both Haley and Ryan and anybody, I think, you know, I see the list and I definitely get it. But Haley, you said something about, there was a word that I wanted to think about, shiny. And when you say shiny, it makes me think there's some kind of lining on that plastic. For example, I'm thinking of like a butter. You have 4 sticks of butter. It's in, quote, a paper cardboard packaging, but it's got like a wax or some type of plastic lining. I also understand that something like a Starbucks cup has a lining to help protect you from the heat of the coffee. Do I need to take that into account, that there's some kind of lining on that paper product when I see something like paper cups?
Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but no, we can take coated cardboard. There's certain things that we have to watch for industrial wise, but in residential, like any type of cup, like the McDonald's cup or anything like that that has a bit of a lining on the outside, it's typically like it's like a coating. It's not actual plastic, and it can be broken down when they put it into like the big bin that you saw in the video that spins and breaks down all of the material. Am I correct in saying that, Ryan?
Yeah, it can separate it out if it does, if it doesn't break down with the fibers. But like she was saying, like there's other linings that we wouldn't be able to use, like if it has like a foil lining or something, kind of like some tea bags use those. Not the actual bag itself, but what the bag comes in has, it's paper, but it's lined with an aluminum, basically aluminum foil lining that's also easy to rip like paper, but it would still get us a rejection from the paper mills because it doesn't break down.
Right.
So it's just, there's certain linings that are okay and certain linings that aren't. So if it's you know, if the cup says on it it's 100% recyclable and it doesn't look like it's some kind of shiny foil liner, then it's probably good.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. That's just the thing with recycling. There's so many touchy things with recycling. There's like, you know, this product, you know, might kind of look the same, but it just has a little bit of a different variable. So we can take that, but this product has, you know, what we consider contamination. So we can accept that. So it's just kind of finding that balance, that fine line, the rules, if you will, of everything to know what we can get in and it won't end up in the landfill, you know.
So it sounded a little bit like aseptic cartons when you were saying that, but from my understanding, that was something listed as acceptable, right? I don't know if Diane, can you scroll up back to the paper?
I sure can.
I thought it was a separate cartons,
Aseptic
like juice
cartons
boxes.
right here.
Yeah.
Yep, juice boxes are
Chicken broth.
okay.
Correct.
Those are fine.
But what you're talking about is paper and aluminum or something, paper and something shiny. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
basically
I
like an inside lining, and
right.
that's fine. That should be fine there.
Yeah,
That
Sue, I
okay.
can't believe you have the actual butter wrapper that they were
Yeah.
talking about.
She has Irish butter.
I get
Those are
Terry
from
Gold,
Irish
nothing back. But
cows.
I put this in to be recycled, and then what we were talking about was making me think, oh, should that not be in my recycling bin?
No,
And
you're
so
fine.
you're
with
saying
that.
it's fine.
Yeah.
And this morning I broke my favorite coffee cup, and had to look up on Recycle Coach, and now I can't decide if that goes in the trash or in my recycling. It's just a ceramic cup. I think it has to be
No.
trash.
Garbage. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. We were also talking about aerosol cans, and when I say we, I mean the education team, we generally don't talk about getting those punctured. Like oh, what do I want to say? Whipped cream cans or window cleaner cans. I never tell anybody to puncture those.
And you
Is
don't
that
have to.
okay?
That's kind of mainly for the industrial side of it because
Okay,
they
good. Okay,
have the tools to do that kind of stuff.
okay,
And honestly, on the curbside, the truck will crush it and get
right,
that air out of there.
right.
But it's just it can just be a safety thing for all of us,
Yeah.
really, the hauler, everyone.
Okay,
If
good.
it catches even a little spark and it bursts out, hairspray, then we've all seen what that does. So,
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right.
but
Hopefully
yeah, it's
nobody
not
is
a must
using.
for the curbside.
Okay, hopefully nobody's using hairspray in aerosol cans anymore. That's 70s. So
Was that an outdated? Was
yeah,
that
a
an
little
outdated
outdated.
example? All right.
To,
I
to go
do.
with that, would spray paint cans, are those recyclable or?
It can be iffy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
would.
I saw down here where it says paint cans empty.
Yeah,
And I didn't know if those were spray paint cans or gallon, you know, cans. I didn't know what that, I would assume it's the gallon size because it says
yeah,
too large. Okay.
Right.
yeah.
Okay. We never say to recycle those anyway because they're never ever empty enough.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's
and that's
always
kind of
some
saying
sign.
there's something in there, and it's hard. You can't rinse out a spray paint can or without tearing it open and making a mess. So
Okay.
yeah,
I would
those are
definitely say for spray paint cans, definitely avoid doing that because if they go through like our drum feeder and they
Uh-huh.
bust in the drum feeder and there's paint, then when it goes to the sort line, then paint's gonna be everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
But it's one of those things like if we see it come through, it'll probably still end up being recycled.
Okay.
It just it'll make it really messy that day.
Okay.
Yeah, and those spray paint cans that have paint in them, maybe the spout broke or something like that, and you can't get it out. That is an accepted item in our household hazardous waste.
Okay.
Like spray paint cans that have paint in them.
like a damaged bottle.
Yes.
Yeah, I've gotten them
Okay.
before where I can't get it to spray out anymore or something. So, but would you say if a spray paint can is empty, would it fall under the aerosol can, or would it be preferable to avoid it completely?
Probably avoid it. I
Okay.
would.
Okay.
I'll check with Bailey to make sure,
Oh,
but
okay.
I would think it would be an avoid.
Yeah, and these are things that we get to the nitty gritty, especially because we have the Recycle Coach app. So it's not like we have to talk about it all the time, but if
Right.
people search it, like Sue loves to use her Recycle Coach app, we want to make sure we have all of the good info there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just like I was saying, there's so many little variables that can make one thing recyclable and something that looks almost the same not be recyclable. So I understand for sure.
You're absolutely right. And we do use this when people call or someone has a question at an event. We try and make sure that everything's always up to date. And there's always someone who has some sort of strange little just, something. And we're like, well, I don't know. That's just very detailed. I do want to
Yeah.
ask you about how do you describe which plastics are accepted? And I'm not going to say nobody, it has not been checked. And it is by
Oh,
resin type, correct? Can you see it?
yes.
Okay. Just double checking. Rumpke is usually the one that does shape and size, correct? They're particular about that. Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, I would think so because we're not too picky,
Okay.
as long as it can
Um,
go through the line.
I
What
also,
would you say? I'm sorry, excuse me. What would you say is the number one thing that ruins equipment?
plastic bags.
Those tanglers, yeah, the plastic bags or hoses that wrap around it
Okay. How about straws?
causes
Did I
extra
see
stress.
straws, plastic
No,
straws on there?
and you know what? We're going to talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
But yes, plastic bags. Do you see plastic bags, film wrap? They do not accept it, and it is detrimental. It, one bag is fine, but it's never just one bag. I had a guy kind of get up mad at me and said, well, your equipment is weak and you need to make stronger equipment. And we're like, it's not one bag, it's 1,000 bags, you know, coming through every day, getting stuck through there. And I mean, we really kind of got kind of snotty because I mean, I'm like, come on. Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
it was one bag, it's really no big deal. But when 1,000 Kroger bags come through there and they just get wrapped up, it's like a
Mhm.
And I-
shoestring.
And I
Go
do
ahead.
believe you can take all of your bags back to the grocery store. I want
You
to say,
can.
I
Yes.
want to say Kroger does that at least.
Yes.
Um,
All of your bags,
so
your wraps, your film, your Amazon
Mhm.
envelopes.
Amazon,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
So it's really not, or any Target, if you go grocery shopping at Target or
Mhm.
Walmart or yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my horse on that one. Let's see. Corrugated plastic signs, like yard signs. I thought this was recycled. I thought this was accepted and recycled.
Do you remember what Bailey decided on that?
I think what happens with it is they're larger, not super large, so they'll go through the sort line. But oh, and I see it said it. I don't have the note down there for too large for sort line. It's gonna end up in our cardboard pile
Okay.
because it can't fall through those spokes. Now,
Yes.
it is recyclable, so when they do come through, as long
Yes.
as our plant employees at that pre-sort, that manual pre-sort, see it fast enough, which I feel like typically they will be, they can pull it off and it'll go down to where all the trash goes, but we rerun the trash and we also look through it. And so, you know, they go to scoop up trash and they see some yard signs sitting there, they're going to pull them out and just throw them in whatever plastic pile they need to go in.
Okay.
I think the only issue it'll cause is if we don't grab them in time, it's just going to go straight to our cardboard pile, which is considered a contaminant for the cardboard.
Okay.
Would it
Um,
help if they were smaller, or is that, I mean, would they then get
I'd say
sorted
if
if they
they,
go through?
Because they
I'd
kind
say
of
if they
break
cut
if you
them
try
up,
to fold
they
them.
may.
Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody like cut it up into 3 or 4 pieces, then it would go through more like plastic than cardboard.
Yeah, it should.
Exactly.
Yep,
I think that would be a
because
good
it should.
resolution.
That
It
line
should
of
go
light
like
should
it's
read the resin in it and put it with
okay.
PET,
Okay.
HDPE, and I think there's even a third pile that's just plastics. Is it like
Just
3
the
through
rest.
7, Ryan?
327.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
exactly.
mixed plastics. Okay,
Yep.
well, good to know. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, now let's get to the straw question. I'm so excited because we just happened to have seen this earlier today. It says yes, accepted straws, but aren't they too small? What if you put a whole bunch of straws in your McDonald's cup? Like you keep a McDonald's cup to put a whole bunch of straws in. Would they get
And that's kind of what we're telling people exactly. They
good?
won't individually capture, but if you can collect a bunch together and put them in something, or like
Okay.
an HD jug would be perfect. Like take your
Okay.
coffee once it's empty, fill it with straws and send it through that way. It has a much better chance of being captured that way.
Okay, perfect. And it would probably go through, you said HD, so that's a number 2.
Too.
And it more than likely straws are number 2 straws, HDPE. I have no idea what they are.
I'm not sure. I was just thinking on that
Okay.
line of it would also be seen by a person because it's going to go straight through to the where we have the that AI robot and a
Yes.
person there as well. So
Oh, okay.
then they'll have a better chance of being
So it could be
captured that way.
it could be
But
hand
that's a good
sorted, somebody
question.
could see it. Okay.
I would think maybe from the feel of it, it might even be PET or
Yeah, I have no idea.
polypropylene. I'm gonna Google that right now.
Oh, look at you. Okay. And I think Karen was, oh, foil. I'm gonna watch your eyeballs. I'm gonna scroll back up to the metal section. And let's see. The foil is, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong. It was the foil, it has to be larger than a 2-inch size. So if you have aluminum foil, but if you make it into a ball larger than 2 inches, then it will go through and get recycled as aluminum foil. Okay, great. Was that the question, I
Exactly.
think, Karen?
Yeah, it looked like it got skipped accidentally, so that's where we wanted to just
Probably.
clarify.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
okay.
And that would be yes, accepted. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. See, this is so good that you guys were here
Yes.
just to get some
And I
of
found
these
out
things.
straws are polypropylene.
Oh, okay.
If they want to collect them in anything that's a 3 through 7, actually, instead, it'll
Okay.
go in there with the rest of the mixed plastics.
Okay, so you could put it in a polypropylene cup or whatever, a number 5 cup or whatever,
Sure,
and
yeah.
it'll go through
Like a
with
big
the mixed
butter
plastics.
container or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Great, you guys are fabulous. Thank you.
And just as kind of a rule of thumb, anything that is 2 inches or bigger has a chance of being captured. If it's smaller than that, then it's going to fall through. That's why bottle
Right.
caps. We have a lot of people who want to know about bottle caps, and they have an abundance, but we have to keep those separate, separate them. So they'll have to keep them all the same kind of plastic cap and the Gaylord together because they just won't make it through the sort line to be able to be captured that way. So
Right.
if somebody has an abundance of caps, it just has to be a separated out thing that doesn't even reach the sort line at all.
Right. We usually try, if people have a bunch of that they have, if the generator has source separated that themselves, we usually tell people to donate them for something that it will not go through your single stream separation. Okay.
I have
Okay.
a question. I thought you had said, Diana, and I know in one of the other classes that for water bottles and things with lids, it was another gentleman that was speaking to us said just to leave them on the bottle.
Yes, leave them on the bottle.
Yes.
Okay, so you can go
Smart.
ahead and do it, but just leave them on the bottle. Don't take them off.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
You-
correct.
That's perfect.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
All because it's the same kind of material, plastic to plastic. If it was a metal lid to a glass jar, that's 2 different materials, metal to glass, and those need to be separated.
Exactly. And the more
Um,
that it can be separated before it comes to that line, the better off, just like
The
you were
better.
saying.
Right. I think, Karen, was that it? I think that was it. Sorry, I'm moving up and down, and I will take my hand off that. Because I know
Right.
it makes me seasick to watch that. So,
Sorry, can with glass, does it matter if it's broken or not? Because you were talking about like 2-inch pieces.
if I'm sorry,
The
Heidi, you
glass,
go ahead. Mhm.
I don't think the glass, it matters if it's broken or not, because when the glass hits the bottom, so that very first cardboard sort, when glass falls through, whether it's like a slightly broken piece or a full bottle, it shatters even more. And then it'll go off to the right. And so I think glass is one of the first things that's caught, because it's going to be smaller than two inches because of the way the sort line's built. It's going to fall down, break into tiny little pieces, and go off to the right. And then everything after that, that's when the paper or the plastic or anything has to be larger than the 2 inches to catch. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And it's going to be glass jars and bottles, not glass window panes, not your ceramic mug. I'm sorry, Sue. but just glass bottles and jars. And generally they do get broken up in the compaction in the truck, but in the it's one of the first things that are sorted, and it's by machinery. It gets all crunched up together into a very fine what I want to call it, and so it can be sent out into those big plastic bags, those big Gaylord bags.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for being with us here today. We really appreciate it. Answering questions and making it clear about recycling. So we really appreciate it.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Feel free to text, call, or
Oh,
email any
you know
other
we will.
questions.
Yeah. Keep them
Well,
coming.
yeah,
We'll
it's
try to
just,
figure it out if we don't know.
it's just going to be a couple of more weeks until our monthly
The tour.
tour starts. Yeah, aren't you
Yes.
thrilled? Woo.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Who knows what the weather will be
hopefully
like.
some warmer weather with it
Yeah.
too. We'll
Yes.
see.
Goodness.
That's funny. Well, thank you guys so much for coming today.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank you all. Thanks
Uh-huh.
for having us.
Yeah.
All right.
If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask real quick. Otherwise, we will see Ryan and Haley later. All right,
Any
guys. Thank you so
questions?
much.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stop sharing that. And do you guys see is my sharing for West Rock? Let me get back up here. PowerPoint 3, share. Do you guys see my screen now? It should be, oh, good.
It's
Thank
good.
you.
It's good.
And Karen said, oh, I should have changed the new logo. I forgot all about it. In my heart, it will always be West Rock, but it is Smurfit West Rock. So I forgot to change the logo on that. But when we talk about the sorting center, we will now use the word MRF. It makes it so much easier. The materials recovery facility is the sorting center. And that's where everything is, all the recyclable materials in single stream recycling curbside will go to get sorted and baled and shipped to a buyer to get recycled. So we'll call it a MRF now, and it will be so much easier to say MRF instead of recycle center or sorting center. Right. This is a little card that we give out to the community to show what is recycled and what isn't recycled. This is the one. Ooh. And I updated this. I guess I didn't. We do have one that is updated that includes not just the USD, but also the rest of the county, which makes it easier for everybody to have those accepted items, the same accepted items. It makes it easier for the community to understand exactly what the MRF will accept, instead of having to see that list that gets so far down to the nitty gritty. I think I sent one of those to somebody. Who did I send that to? Anyway, to somebody.
Me, Susan.
Okay, good. I was like, I think I sent one. Good. And if you'll notice, there's a little bit different logos down here than what you have. Yours is more up to date, Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. This is our Recycle Coach app. like Sue was saying, Recycle Coach app is as up to date as we can make it, and I always refer people to that, or I use it when I use I'm at events. I will ask Recycle Coach, and it's really nice instead of having the accepted items list around or something. People will always say, I never know, I don't recycle because I never know when the recycle day is, and Recycle Coach will give you notifications of that. It's really helpful. Also, of the garbage, if you're in the USD, not only will it tell you what day your recycling is, but your garbage day. Now, Sue, I think you've used the drop-off locations. Is that correct? The staffed locations for some recycling sometimes, is that correct?
Yes, I have on occasion. Yes.
So here in the county, the district pays for staff centers so that everybody in the county has access to free recycling. You just have to get it there. We won't pick it up. So let's say that you live in an HOA or a subscription area where the Metro does not collect your garbage or your recycling. If you can get it to one of those centers or a collection dumpster site, we'll take that recycling and recycle it for you. But you do have to get it there. And not only that, the drop-off centers, the staffed drop-off centers take more than just normal curbside recycling. They will take mortar oil, antifreeze, cooking oil, like when you deep fry a turkey. The one on Hubbard's Lane will take lawnmowers. The one on Dixie will take scrap metal. The Waste Reduction Center takes scrap metal. There's also the household hazardous waste that will take even more things that are even more hazardous, like batteries, like lithium batteries, or what else? Garden chemicals, things like that. Now, those things, the batteries will probably be recycled, but the garden chemicals and things like that probably will not be recycled, but they will be disposed of properly. All right. Does anybody have any questions? All right, now we're going to talk about how to recycle right. This is some of the stuff that we talk about when we talk to the community who wants a program, or some of the information we talk at events. This is some of the information that's easiest to have the community to hear. So it's not so detailed like that list, but it's very important. We always talk about the waste reduction hierarchy and how reduce is the best and most effective of way to divert waste from the landfill. Just reduce your consumption. Don't even get it into the waste stream. Reuse. Use it until it cannot be used anymore. Don't throw away something that has life left in it. And then the least preferred is to recycle it. Recycling has only so many times before you can't recycle it anymore. When you talk about plastic, especially. Does anybody have any questions on that? I would love to talk to you about that. Okay. It's very hard to convince people about how important reduction is when you talk to them about landfill diversion. Okay. Where to recycle? There's some, oh. Huh. I thought I took that one out. Anyway, electronics over here at the Waste Reduction Center. I forgot to mention that. Different kinds of recycle carts, different kinds of haulers. If you have a private hauler, you may have to pay for getting your recycling collected. And it's very important for you to be aware of what the fee is on that. Let me see. Oh, right. So here are a lot of questions that were asked when we talked to the community. What can I recycle? What's accepted? What about lids and labels? How clean does it have to be? Do I have to wash it? And why are the rules different from one city to another, let alone from one state to another? And so let's see. It says we will start off with where does the material go? Because people are convinced that our recycling goes right to the landfill. Our trucks, Metro's trucks, look exactly alike whether it's going to be a recycled truck that day or a garbage truck that day. So it could be one truck could be the same truck, but a different part of the day doing a different type of collection. So if it's picking up recycling in the morning, it's going to go to the MRF, drop that off, and it might go and collect garbage later that afternoon, and then that will go to the landfill. So it is possible that one particular truck could collect two different material routes. However, they will go to the accepted tipping site, and that's just how it is. If you have recycling, it has to go to the recycling center. How it's sorted and processed, and then how it's made into new stuff. If you guys ever wanted to see anything cool, you can make your own plastic, which is really fun. And we also do a program where we show students how manufacturers sort plastic, especially mixed plastic, to sort it into material, resin types. Let's see here. This is the tipping floor. And if you notice, this was taken a little while before they got the cover for the tipping floor. And I'm going to say to share the audio. But they have front end loaders, and you can see all of that lovely mixed material from cardboard to plastic to who knows what's in there. And they're going to take it and dump it in the drum feeder right there. And that's what Haley was talking about. Oh, that's the new cover. Keeps everything drier. Let's see here. And there's one of our pumpkin trucks, or one of our orange trucks, actually dumping or tipping a whole load of recycling into the tip floor. It looks like a lot of plastics in there. And here is the front end loader that into the drum feeder. And what's happening is that drum feeder has these little claws that fluffs up that recycling, because remember, it was compacted in the truck. So in order to sort it properly, they need to start fluffing that up and start separating some of those things that have been stuck together during when it was all squeezed up in the truck. Anybody have any questions or anything? I do want to tell you, you might see some things blowing away. They do collect all that. They do clean that up every day. There's something, people that go around that pick all that blowing litter up from around the plant and make sure it's nice and clean and doesn't get into nature. I often wondered that myself until I asked. Alrighty. This is coming from the drum feeder, and this is the first conveyor belt, and that's actually where people stand, where the camera is. People are standing right there, and you can see what's the first thing that you notice. There's some of that tape, that plastic tape. There's also some plastic bags, but they're clear. Lots of cardboard. We go to the next one. And you can see some people starting to sort and take the detrimental items off the conveyor belt before it gets into the mechanisms of the sort, the screenings. Karen, it looks like this is very slow. Usually, I think in my head it goes by, I guess it seems like it's slow, but I think it goes by faster. I know it moves by very fast, and it made me dizzy. I could not do that. I could not be a sorter. I also think what's really interesting is that people are touching your recycling first thing. It's also kind of mesmerizing. Any questions so far? Okay. Is there
I was just going to say it's amazing to see how much plastic bags are in there. Although I think it's the same thing over and over.
How much plastic? If there's one thing that we can all try and reduce, it would be plastic waste. Yeah. Oh, the guy on the left, upper left, he does take a plastic bag, and if you notice in just a second, he'll take a bag, and it is clear, he'll give it a shake, nothing much falls out, he's not going to give it a second chance, and he dumps it in the trash. They will get a plastic bag and they will open it, but whatever doesn't fall out, they're not going to stand there and get every little bit of it out. So if a resident bags their recycling and says, well, they'll break it open and get in there and take everything I put in there out. No, you just wasted your time, their time, and all of that material by bagging all of those plastic bottles. So keep it loose. That way it will get recycled and you were not going to waste anybody's time. Let's see. Oh, here's some of the trash that you can see are coming up from the line, falling through into the bays. One is film plastic bags, and then tin or other types of things, which Bailey was talking about. This will be run again, she said, and or Haley will have this stuff run again to try and get as much product as they can out of there and separate it from the trash. Most of that will go to the trash. They won't take that to Kroger. That is headed towards the landfill. This is the first sort screen, and it's actually pretty big. You can, how do I say how big that is? That's wider than a person is tall, I'll put it that way. But you can see how the plastic just rides right in there, and then it just gets tangled up right there. Boom, just goes right through. Gets tangled up in those gears. You can already see some of that. But the light, flat that cardboard rides right on top to the cardboard sort. So right now, everything starts to be sorted. And when you stand there, the glass is being crushed, and you can hear it going tinkle-tee, tinkle-tee, tinkle-tee as it falls right down. Anyway, you can hardly, it's very loud. The machinery is loud. The noise the items make hopping along the conveyor there is very loud. This is what the cardboard sort looks like. It comes in a big pile. Then they take those little bobcats, and if you look there in the middle of the screen, there is another conveyor that's on the floor. See it shifting and moving? That's actually going to the baler to get baled into huge sized bales to get shipped to make more paper. So usually, because once cardboard gets recycled and then the fibers are smaller, it gets recycled into paperboard. Then paperboard gets recycled into something like copy paper. And then copy paper gets recycled into something like tissue or toilet paper. And once that happens, that goes into the sewer where they have lots of lovely microorganisms that eat up the plant cellulose and eventually just disappears into nature, which is really kind of cool. Uh-oh, am I losing everybody? Sorry. Chit chat about this all day. Let's see. Oh, is that a new picture? That's the paper sort. This is the magnetic. This is an electromagnet. That hole, if you see the stuff is being pulled up. The tin cans, the metal cans that are not aluminum, are riding on a conveyor belt below, and then the magnet is so strong that that belt attracts all of that magnetic metal.
Can I just so then how does it
Yes.
drop the the things that are sticking to it? How does it drop
Oh,
those off
what
then?
happens is when it goes over and it changes from going from below to up, it changes it and it kind of slings it out. That's when it drops it. So when the belt goes from below to the belt going up, in its circle, that's when it slings it out. I do want to tell you, it slings it out over here. Sometimes it hangs on and it won't let go until it's here. And you have to be very careful because sometimes tin cans go flying. But yeah, they get stuck here, and when it gets up, you can't see it, but the belt turns here. Once it makes that turn, it should let it go. And it goes to another conveyor belt. So there's a whole bunch of stuff riding here on this conveyor, not just aluminum cans, but other stuff too. But the aluminum is attracted to here, not the aluminum, the magnetic cans, like tin, like green bean cans. Did that answer your question? Just double check.
Yes, no,
Okay,
that's really
yeah.
interesting. Thank you.
It is it's kind of cool. People who have pacemakers or something like that are not allowed around this piece of equipment. That's how powerful a magnet it is. This is the eddy current that Haley was talking about. If you watch the aluminum can, the aluminum metal can actually gets jumps over where the rest of the recycling drops straight down. So the recycling drops straight off the conveyor belt, but the aluminum cans shoot out further and goes into another conveyor belt, and you can see them right down here. I don't know, here in the very far left corner, you can see all those cans sitting happily right there. Now, the aluminum can people want only aluminum cans, and they get really upset if there's any contaminant. So there's a person that actually sorts the aluminum cans by hand as well. So the aluminum cans are sorted from most everything else here with this eddy current, but then there is a staff person here sorting it even finer. They really don't like contaminants, and they'll even do it again. They'll even go back and sort it one more time. Coca-Cola wants their cans back. Not just their, I'm not saying just their cans, but they want only aluminum cans. Did you see a little plastic pan got in that sort? He took it out. Those black plastic containers are very hard for the sorting equipment to see because the sorting equipment can't distinguish it from the conveyor belt. So it's very hard to sort. It's one of the things that MRFs have a hard time with sorting. They contaminate throughout the whole sort. Anyway. Once again, it's very loud, that sort. Let's see here. This is the aluminum can bay or bunker. And you can see two large bales that have been, aluminum cans have been pressed together and baled with wire. You can see how clean they are. There's not much in there, but just aluminum cans. Aluminum can be recycled indefinitely. It doesn't lose its structural integrity. So if you have a choice between a soda in an aluminum can or in a plastic bottle, aluminum is probably better. All right, this is Karen, what is this sort called? Is this the 3D conveyor sort? Is that what this is called? Oops. Okay. I'm calling it. What happens is things
Anne
that
had to
are
join another meeting, so she's not with us.
okay. Things that are shaped like a container actually get sorted to the right and they bounce down into another conveyor sort line. If you look, isn't that weird that things that are container-like move different than things that are flat that get moved up? It always seems counterintuitive how that works. But the flat paper or flat things move up the line and the roundy containers move down the line. Once again, it's very loud. I always thought that was kind of interesting. Not only is it amazing how recycling has evolved and does evolve every day. It seems like somebody comes up with another good idea to sort another container better, easier, cheaper than it is to see how much recycling goes through this place. And this is just the recycling. Not everybody recycles. This is not landfilled garbage. It's amazing how much waste we make as a community. Anyway, this is another sort. Oh, Let me start it up. There we go. You can see that little cone shape helps to separate. And I cannot, to tell you the truth, I can't remember what this sort does. It could be an optic sort where it has a computer that reads the shape or the resin of something. I think that's what it is the resin. It actually can identify a number 1 and number 2 kind of resin, which is really kind of cool. The density, it measures the density of the resin. There it is. Yep, that's what it is. So it's measuring the density of the resin, and it's a PET. When's a polyethylene terephthalate, it needs a water bottle or a soda bottle, and it can actually identify it, and it takes a big puff of air and puffs it up onto a second conveyor belt, and everything else falls through. You also notice that that it is fallible. However, if they will redo that. They will make that go through this sort twice. If they think there's a lot of recyclables getting missed, they'll do it again. They'll run it through again. This could be a second run sort. So not only are there lots of different ways to sort recycling, they'll do it several times to make sure that they are getting all of the product they can to sell. This is what Ryan was talking about, the natural jugs. I wrote it down, HDPE, which is number 2. It is actually learning. This is an artificial intelligent computer and robot that is learning how to identify high density polyethylene. Specifically the natural color milk jugs, which now can be recycled and made into any color milk jug or any color jug. It moves much faster now, and there's a lot more coming through. This is when they first installed it. So if you think that's all the milk jugs there are, it's not. This is like one of the first days they had it up and operating. And there's also a staff person at the end of this, making sure it's getting enough jugs, because sometimes the jugs are very oddly shaped, and the little suction cup can't lift up the natural shaped jug, and they will take it off the belt by hand. I also think what's interesting is the shape of the belt. This is contoured, whereas all the others kind of were basically mostly flat, which is kind of interesting. All right. Now, once the materials have been sorted into their material types, like HDPE number 2s, polyethylene terephthalate number 1s, once all of these are separated, they get baled. So right now, the baler is baling up cardboard. And in 20 minutes, maybe it will be paper or plastic. It could be anything. It looks like one of those Play-Doh machines when I had as a kid that you would squeeze Play-Doh through and it makes different shapes and things like that. But that bale goes and sits on a conveyor belt that's on the ground, and it gets ready to take them outside and put them on rail cars. They can fit a lot more on a rail car than they can a truck. I think it's so pretty. You can tell that manufacturers really make products to be attractive for people to buy products. Isn't that weird? Especially those aluminum cans make you buy soda cans or soda. Let's see. Oh, sometimes cardboard has to sit out and get ready to fill up some more rail cars. It's nice that this facility can utilize the railroad and not just semi trucks. Karen likes this picture because this is what we call residue. These are the things that are less than 2 inches that kind of fall through all of the screens. So it starts up really high, close to the ceiling of the facility, and by the end, it goes right to the floor of the mist stuff. You can see all of those less than 2 inches, all of those medicine bottle lids. There's actually a little metal lid that got missed. Paper. You can see a lot of shredded paper is down there that got missed. What else? There is a playing card, straws. Do you guys see anything that's interesting in this picture?
I see a Smucker's jam lid, I think.
Oh, do you?
Kind of left upper, it's upside down. Definitely see the medicine bottles. It looks like there's a like a peanut butter bar, like a Cliff Bar wrapper.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yep, sure enough. I believe in one of those conveyor belts, there might have been a picture of a shoe. We always like to use that one, and we always like to have the kids try and find the shoe. They always get so excited about the shoe. There's a plastic fork, and it's not that the plastic or the fork cannot be recycled, it's that it's too small and they fall through. So it makes it just, it's recyclable, but it's not recoverable. And that's one of those terms that it's very hard for people. It just kind of blows their mind, especially when you talk to them about that. Yeah, plastic's recyclable, but sorting it is difficult and it's not always recoverable. Maybe one day, somebody will invent how to sort plastic utensils, but not now. It doesn't happen now. I do like to look at this one and see all the stuff I can find. I see the flies. Sometimes it is kind of stinky in there. It might have been in the summertime. Anyway, all right. So do you guys have any questions? I can't wait for you to see the MRF, to see that firsthand. But so make sure to sign up. If you can't do it the 1st of March, then sign up for the April one. Sign up as soon as you can, because it really helps to understand where things are going. And it seems like people believe you more about, yes, recycling works. Recycling works. It's not the only answer. Recycling doesn't fix everything, but it helps. Of course you have to recycle. Why waste the resources by putting it in the landfill? Of course recycle. Don't throw it in the landfill. We should recycle, but it's not the only answer. The only true answer that works is reducing. Plastic and their numbers. Okay, we all know plastic and their numbers 1 through 7. Smurfit Westrock, the MRF takes 1 through 7. Not all recycling centers do, not all haulers do. However, our MRF uses, what do I want to say, accepts recycling from several different kinds of haulers. But from the USD, we take 1 through 7, except the foam of polystyrene. Styrofoam is a puffy kind of polystyrene, so it is not accepted. It's a number 6, and it is simply just garbage for the most part. It cannot be recycled here in Louisville. So number 1, PETE, polyethylene terephthalate. That all that means is it is telling the manufacturer and the remanufacturer what chemicals were used to make that plastic. And those chemicals help it to be either rigid, heated up nicely to make a lovely thermoform, if it helps it to be stretchy, if it helps it to be food safe, that's all that is. Polyethylene, ethylene is put with the oil to make this product number one. That's it. It starts out as a monomer, and then it is compressed and heated. It's called cracking, and it lines them up into a lovely polymer where instead of just one single pearls, there are lots of pearls, strings of pearls attached to make those lovely shapes and forms. Let's see. When I do the class on plastics investigation about how manufacturers sort different kinds of plastic, we do go into a little bit more detail of what a PET is and what chemicals take to make a plastic number one, a plastic number two. I will tell you all plastic right now to date, all these plastics come from oil, come from a fossil fuel, and they come from volatile organic chemicals that change that oil into a plastic, into a polymer. And all of these VOCs are toxic. All plastic is toxic. It just depends how toxic it is and how what you're putting in there leaches out the toxins, which is kind of interesting. Like you wouldn't put a soda in a PVC pipe. PVC is terribly toxic. And that's why soda bottles aren't made out of PVC. But soda bottles are usually PETs, or water bottles are PETs. So it just depends how toxic the plastic is. That's why you should never reheat food in a plastic container, because those microplastics will break away from the plastic shape that you use. And it's not good to have microplastics in your body. Styrofoam and plastic bags. Plastic bags can get sent to the grocery store when you go shopping. Styrofoam, unfortunately, is garbage in this area. There are lots of cities right now who are changing the food industry within those cities from purchasing styrofoam containers. They're trying to get them to use things that can be recycled, like paper, or like a coffee cup or a paper cup or a plastic that can be easily recycled. McDonald's has changed the way they hand out their food to people. It's no longer with styrofoam. Most of it's paper now, and that can all be recycled. That some cities are totally banning styrofoam, which is fabulous. Oh, so remember the screening that we saw, where all of the first screen that we saw? Well, that's how big that screen is. There are people walking on it. You have to turn it off. You have to turn off the whole sort line, like the whole entire plant. And then these people have to go in with sharp knives and cut out that plastic that is wrapped around those gears. And you can see how big that is. Those people are walking on it. I would not want that to be my job. It's like putting your hand in your sink and the what do you call the thing that crunches stuff up from your sink?
Garbage disposal. Don't put your
Yeah,
hand in the garbage
thank you.
disposal.
Garbage disposal. I don't have one simply for that too. It creeps me out. I'm not sticking my hand in there. Yeah, nope, that's not my job. Okay, here's the labels and lids. You can keep the labels on. It is no big deal. Those teeny tiny labels, whether they're plastic or paper, will get separated. And whether they will be recovered, it just depends. Not always, but keep them on. At least it can get to the right place. If it's going to be landfilled, it will get to the right place. When you consider glass, the paper will get separated when the glass gets crushed. And if there's any paper stuck on there, when it goes to be refired, it will just burn up. But plastic to plastic, and that glass lid will either get, when the glass jar gets crushed, the metal lid is now free to ride around to get taken to the magnetic metal section. But it's, I mean, if I had a jar like that in my recycling, I would keep the lid on because that's gross. I would definitely rinse that out and get some of that grunge out of there because I don't want my recycling container to get gooey. Do you have to wash your things? No, but rinsing them out is kind of handy. That soup can, ew. I would probably rinse it out just enough to get some of the goop out of there so it doesn't make my container kind of gooey. I hate to wash out my container. So yeah, rinse it, but you don't need to wash it. That peanut butter jar, I would probably let my dog lick some of that out because she loves peanut butter, but I would not sit there and scrub it out. When I first started 5 years ago at this job, I went to a library with Karen, and there were people who brought all of their samples of what to recycle. And they were talking about how they put them in their dishwasher to wash them out. And I'm like, man, you guys go the extra mile. And wouldn't it be nice if the recycle center had that? I mean, had all of that clean plasticware or jars or metal cans. Golly, their life would be so much easier and it wouldn't be so stinky. But no, that's not what happens. Once again, recycle coach. What to do with all that strange, weird things like boards, paint cans, concrete. Have you all used recycle coach yet? Just raise your hand digitally if you guys have recycle coach. And you get a golden star for today. Woo woo, Destiny, good job. Mary Ellen, yay, you dying. Good job, Marie. Yay. It is super helpful and I use it every event I go on. Thanks, Sue. I use it every event. It's really kind of handy. All right, now I will shut up. Phew. I bet you guys are glad. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything I need to ask Karen about? Because they're generally, Karen really can keep a lot of information in her head. And is there anything that anybody has any questions? Did those videos help you at all to when someone says, oh, listen, recycling doesn't work. We've only ever recycled, we only recycle 8% of what's ever put, whatever. How do I want to say this? Because it's wrong and I always have to say it the right way. Only 8% of recycling is ever recycled. And you have to be very careful when you hear people talking about that, that no, that is not what happens. 8% of the recycling in Louisville is not recycled. It's actually a lot more than that. I think, shoot, I should have written it down. I think it's closer to 27% of our waste is recycled. Let's see. Did those videos help you to understand the process of recycling? I hope. Now that you can tell people, yes, recycling does work. You have seen it. And hopefully when you see it in real life, you can really tell people.
Definitely.
Oh, good.
I agree with you. I don't want to be the person who, you know, has to stop the gear on the belt and get in there and
Freaks me out.
agree.
Oh my gosh.
But
When
I'd
we
say the
saw
whole,
that, I was just like, oh my God, I think I have to go around and go sit in a car. I couldn't
Well,
watch that.
I would just want a very trustworthy person standing at that on button, you know?
It's true.
But I mean, it sounds like an amusement park ride for recyclables. I mean, you start at the top
Yeah.
and, you know, the stuff just gets, you start at the very
just
top and you
gets
just kind of go down and go down
That's
and go
it.
down.
You are exactly right. That's it. It's an amusement ride for your recycling. Absolutely. And it starts in your recycle cart. That's right. That's a cute way to think about that. I like that. Because they do, you know, they go up and down and they get shaken back and forth and shot like a little, you know, shot like from a cannon or something, some of those eddy currents and things like that. Yep, that's kind of cool. Does anybody have any questions or anything? I think next week it is going to be behavior change and theories. And then not next week, we're not having class next week. March 4th is going to be talking about behavior change and theories, the Recycle Right program, which we have some new people that we were training today. And let's see here. And then March 11th, we're going to talk about composting, one of my favorite things.
So no
anyway.
class on the 25th?
Correct.
Okay.
No
thanks.
class on the 25th. We get to go to a recycling conference here in Louisville. We do like to do some networking. So yes, nothing happening on the 25th. So we're starting up again in March 4th and March 11th. So you guys get a break. Maybe you can look at some of the videos that are on YouTube. Karen does a really nice waste audit video. You might look up some of the waste collection. There are some staff members that are highlighted and talk about themselves and how long they've been doing waste collection. There's some videos about that are very nice. There are some nice videos about female tippers and waste collectors. That's pretty interesting too. Let's see. So you might take some time and do that. What else is there? I guess that's it. Does anyone else have any questions? We'll talk next class time. We'll talk about the Recycle Right program, our Cart Smart program. recycling myths. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about some more options for ambassadors to volunteer, like at the Louisville Tool Library, which is very interesting. We are going to hopefully see that sometime soon, hopefully in March or April. Actually, when we toured it, we were there for nearly 2 hours, which was very interesting. Let's see, what else? I am setting up more tours. We have the Smith Creek tour is all set up. The land, or is it the landfill tour? I think it's the landfill tour. Oh, no, tour for Smith Creek is on May 6th. And the tour for, I have a list. The tour for the landfill is going to be either May or June. We haven't gotten that nailed down yet. So, if you guys have any questions, you can always email us. You can give us a call. I think you have all that information. If you have anybody that has any questions, you can always have them give us a call. Like I said, I have several members of the community that call me. I have one lady that lives at the forum, and she's trying to set up a recycling with the residents there. And she's like a recycling champion, and she'll ask me questions. It's kind of fun to talk to her. Anyway, well, it is 5 till 3. We'll end 5 minutes early. Woo-hoo. If you guys don't have any questions, I think that we'll just call it a day.
Thanks.
So
See you
thank you.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in
Thank
2
you.
weeks. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
I
Thanks.
promise I won't talk so much next time.
No, you're great.
Oh. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks a lot for being
Bye.
here today. Diana, you're so funny.